change with our weather. A chilly start first thing, the cold air being pushed away, turning milder, cloudier and wetter for many of us. I'll have all the details of that and more coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Fires across California. I mean, we're in a freezing cold snap, aren't we?
Worlds apart, worlds apart.
Because it's these on the fire.
So they are now issuing more red flag warnings. These are exceptionally rare. Prior to these being issued, and they had some at the end of last year, they haven't issued them for about 4 years. They only issue these when it's a very, very worst category, spreading to be more catastrophic than they are. Second biggest, that's 14,000 acres. It is 27% contained, which is an improvement on the 0% containment last week. But then the biggest fire, the Palisades fire, is 23,000 acres, about half the size of the city of Birmingham, and it's only 13% contained. That means it is still pretty much raging out of control, driven largely by these Santa Ana winds and the very dry conditions they have. So Santa Ana winds are when we have dry, cold air coming from the interior, it goes over the mountains, and then it heats up as it gets to the other side, and it speeds up rapidly. So in the next few days, they are set to see these winds strengthening. Over the weekend, they were like 30 miles an hour. They're going to strengthen to 40 miles an hour today, 60 by tomorrow, 70 by Wednesday, still very low humidity. Welcome news, the winds later on Wednesday will start to come from the ocean, bringing some much needed moisture, but moisture from the air in the regards of rainfall is not happening. There is no rain in the forecast for the next 7 days. So they still have this major issue with water. We heard about that earlier. Just want to show you this incredible footage. I don't know if you've seen this. This is a super scooper. This pilot has, but back to the UK, talking about how cold it's been. Over the weekend, we had the coldest night the UK has recorded in 15 years. It got to minus 18.9 degrees in Alton Harris to nearly minus 19. Fast forward 48 hours, this morning in Alton Harris with the milder air moving in, it is nearly 30 degrees warmer than it was on Saturday morning. So this is welcome news. If this cold weather has just been gripping you too much, we are now having this milder weather spread right across the UK that is moving away the cold air, but we still have some cold conditions as we head through the next few days. These were the nighttime temperatures we saw over the weekend, but they are much, much milder today. So wet and windy is the name of the game in the north, but still cold and dry in the south. So we have frosty conditions through England and Wales first thing, where we have the clearest skies, but a weather front in the north brings with it cloud, rain and strengthening winds. No weather warnings in force for any of this. And yes, this milder weather will cause the snow to melt, but we're hoping it will happen slowly, which means we won't see the risk of flooding. First thing this morning, he literally sent me a text this morning with one of those things that pinpoints Andy Peters' location. So this is India, this is Sri Lanka, and just south of there is where the Maldives are. That is where Andy is at the moment. So yes, that is where Andy is this morning. I guess the welcome news for us, knowing that he gets a little bit wet later on today. But if we zip 5,292 miles right the way across the world, we get to the weather we have in the UK. And it has been bitingly cold, particularly over the weekend. That is starting to change today. Europe still in the grips of these sub-zero temperatures, but for us, it is turning much milder. Over the weekend, though, we had record low temperatures. We had minus 18.9 degrees at Alton Harris, the lowest temperature we've had in the UK for 15 years. This morning, it is nearly 30 degrees warmer. And here's the why. We have mild air that's been waiting in the wings, moving up from the south, and that's spreading right across the country, pushing away these cold, frosty conditions. So what it means for today, a divide, wet and windy across the north, but still holding on to some of that cold in the south, but nowhere near as cold as it was over the weekend. Here's how it looks at the moment then. A frost initially for England and Wales, but not as hard as the frost we saw last week with some sunny spells here. But for northern England, Scotland and Northern Ireland, it's cloudy with outbreaks of rain. But look how much milder it is. 6s and 7s in the south, 10 and 11 degrees in the north. It's that wins out as we head through the rest of the week. So let's take a look at our 7-day outlook, where our weekend is always in view. And across the north of the UK, first of all, Scotland, Northern Ireland, northern areas of England, this is our average temperature line. Last week, the temperature sat below this line all week long. This week, they sit above this line, so it's set to be milder this week. Percentage chance of rainfall, though, it comes with a change in type. Last week, it was either dry, and cold and sunny, all these snow showers around. Today we have this band of rain. Yes, it's dry for the middle of the week, but wet weather returns as we head through the weekend. Fortunes further south for England and Wales as we head through the next 7 days. Today sitting around about average, but the line you can see here, temperatures, climate is above average for the rest of the week, and actually high pressure sitting close by means the percentage chance of rainfall remains relatively low, so the outlook for many of us, thankfully, milder.